Jake stared at his banking app the same way most people do on payday, half relieved, half suspicious. The number looked right, $5,000, right on time. And yet, there was this quiet dread sitting in his chest. Because here's the thing, every month Jake felt rich for about 12 hours. Then reality showed up. Rent, car payment, credit cards, subscriptions he forgot he had, a balance transfer he swore was temporary. By the next morning, the $5,000 was already shrinking. By the end of the week, it felt like it had never existed. And this is the part where most people lie to themselves. They say, I just need to earn more. They say, once this one thing is paid off, I'll breathe. They say, this is normal, everyone lives like this. But Jake knew something was off, because he wasn't broke in a dramatic way. No luxury cars, no wild vacations, no reckless shopping sprees. And yet, every single month, about $900 vanished before he even touched his money. Not stolen, not spent loudly, just gone. That night, Jake opened his laptop and did something most people avoid like the plague. He added up his minimum payments. Credit card 1, $125. Credit card 2, $210. Car payment, $420. Personal loan, $145. Total, $900. That's when it hit him. Debt wasn't just a burden, it was a subscription. And worse, it auto-renewed every month. Here's what most people don't realize. Debt doesn't wait until you fail to start hurting you. It drains you quietly while you're still doing okay. And that was Jake, doing okay, working hard, moving nowhere. Look, this is where people get defensive. Now you might be thinking, Jake, $900 isn't being stolen. I agreed to those payments. Fair. But stay with me, because debt doesn't steal the money you see, it steals the money you never get to use. Jake imagined his paycheck as a bucket. Every month, before he even touched it, debt punched holes in the bottom. And no matter how fast he poured money in, it leaked out faster. Here's the math that changed everything for him. $900 a month. That's $10,800 a year. Over 5 years, $54,000. And that's not the original purchases. That's just the privilege of carrying debt. Interest, fees, opportunity cost. This is where it gets really interesting. If Jake invested $900 a month at a modest 7% return instead, in 10 years, over $155,000. In 20 years, nearly $470,000. Debt wasn't just stealing his present, it was robbing his future while smiling politely. And here's the psychological trap. Debt feels manageable because it's broken down into small numbers. $145 here, $210 there. But together, they form a silent tax on your life. A tax you never voted for. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Debt feels normal because everyone around you has it. Car loans are marketed as smart. Credit cards are framed as necessary. Student loans are sold as an investment in yourself. Jake believed all of it, and statistically he was average. The average American household carries over $8,000 in credit card debt alone. Auto loans regularly exceed $40,000, and most people have at least 3 active debt payments at once. So when Jake felt trapped, he assumed the problem was him. Lack of discipline, bad habits, poor budgeting. But debt isn't a willpower problem, it's a design problem. Debt turns future income into past decisions. Every dollar Jake earned had already been assigned a job, and none of those jobs included freedom. One night, Jake tried something radical. He imagined a month with no debt payments, no $900 gone, no stress, no juggling, just choice. What would he do with an extra $900? Build an emergency fund, invest, sleep better, say no to overtime. That's when it clicked. Debt wasn't just expensive, it was exhausting, and exhaustion keeps people compliant. Tired people don't negotiate. Tired people don't plan. Tired people survive. Debt keeps you tired. Jake didn't start by paying everything off. That's what gurus tell you. That's what overwhelms people. He started by seeing the enemy clearly. One list, every balance, every interest rate, every minimum. No judgment, just truth. Because you can't fight what you won't face. And for the first time, Jake wasn't scared. He was focused. Jake did what everyone does next. He Googled, best way to pay off debt. And instantly, two camps appeared like rival religions. The snowball method, pay the smallest balance first to get quick wins. The avalanche method, pay the highest interest first to save the most money. Both came with charts. Both came with confidence. Both claimed to be the answer. Here's what most people don't realize. Neither method fails because of math. They fail because of behavior. Jake ran the numbers. Avalanche saved him about $4,200 in interest long term. Snowball gave him a win in 47 days. 47 days. That mattered more than $4,200 he couldn't emotionally feel yet. Because here's the thing, debt drains motivation before it drains money. Jake didn't need the perfect strategy, he needed momentum. So he made a decision most finance blogs wouldn't applaud. He chose the method he could stick to, not the one that looked smartest on paper. This is where it gets really interesting. The best debt strategy is the one you don't quit on. Jake circled his smallest balance, $1,100, on a store card he barely remembered opening. He stared at it. That balance had been hanging around for years, always almost gone, never actually gone. Not this time. Around this time, something ironic happened. Jake got a raise, an extra $600 a month, and for about 10 minutes he felt relieved. Then reality punched him gently in the face. Because here's the brutal truth no one likes to say out loud. Income doesn't kill debt. Behavior does. Jake watched the raise disappear. Better groceries, a few upgrades, slightly nicer weekends. Debt payments stayed the same. Stress stayed the same. Now you might be thinking, more money always helps. Sometimes, but only if debt is already dictating your decisions. Debt expands to fill available income, just like lifestyle, just like stress. Jake finally understood why so many high earners feel just as broke as everyone else. Debt doesn't care how much you make, it cares how much control it has. Jake noticed something unsettling. Paying the minimum felt comforting. It meant I was responsible. It meant I wasn't failing. It meant no phone calls, no red alerts. Minimum payments are emotional anesthesia. They dull the pain without healing the wound. Here's what most people don't realize. Minimum payments aren't designed to help you win. They're designed to keep you engaged forever. Jake looked at one statement. At the current rate, it would take 19 years to pay off. 19! For something he couldn't even remember buying. That night, Jake made a quiet but powerful rule. I will never accept minimum as progress again. If it didn't move the needle, it didn't count. This was the hardest chapter because motivation didn't rise in a straight line. An emergency hit. Car repairs. $1,300. Jake stared at his progress spreadsheet and felt sick. Months of effort, gone. Here's the dangerous thought that crept in. What's the point? Debt loves moments like this, because setbacks feel like proof that freedom isn't for people like you. Jake almost used the card again, almost told himself he'd fix it later. But then he noticed something different. For the first time, the emergency didn't become a crisis. It was painful, but controlled, and that mattered. Progress didn't disappear, it paused. That realization kept him in the game. 47 days after Chapter 6, Jake logged into his account. Balance, $0. No confetti, no music, just silence. And then, relief. A weird, unfamiliar relief. One payment gone, $125 freed. It wasn't about the money, it was about identity. Jake wasn't someone with debt trying to get out. He was someone who finished things. And that changed everything. Because once you see a debt disappear, you stop believing the lie that it's permanent. Here's something Jake didn't expect. As the balances started shrinking, a quiet fear showed up. Not panic, not stress, comfort. Debt had been with him for so long that it became familiar, predictable, almost safe. Here's what most people don't realize. Debt isn't just a financial problem, it's an identity. Jake had built routines around being broke, saying no, joking about it, telling himself that's just how life is. Debt gave him an excuse for why he hadn't started investing, for why savings never stuck, for why the future always felt far away. And now, those excuses were evaporating. Freedom sounded good in theory. In practice, it was uncomfortable, because debt wasn't the reason anymore. Then what was? Jake caught himself hesitating before making extra payments, not because he couldn't afford them, but because killing debt meant killing the story he'd been telling himself for years.